Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. I don't usually make a big deal about learning all the legal terms out there. It's nice to know them and get used to them and navigate the language of the court. But if I go to court and the court says, oh, we got an ex parte motion, or, there's I'm going to do an order nunc pro tunc. If you're sitting there in the courtroom, you could say, Your Honor, can you clarify what that means real quick? Nothing wrong with that. But so I don't make a big deal about knowing all the legal terms. But when you're reading court papers, um, if there's a word that you don't understand, it's easy to Google it nowadays. I used to have to look at stuff in a dictionary when I was first doing stuff, so it took me probably 5 times longer than you guys to flip through the page. You guys could do a click and type some word real quick. So it's not really an excuse to say, oh, I don't understand this legal terminology, so when I read Troxel versus Granville, I don't understand it, I'm scared, and it hurts my feelings. Do what you did when you were a third grader. When you didn't know the meaning of a word, you had to look it up. Why can't you do that as an adult? But I don't make a huge deal about needing to know all the complex words. But there's a couple words and phrases that are really good to know and easy to pick up on. One of my favorite words to use in court is intransigence, and I also like to use the phrase prima facie. Now, intransigence, these words can tell a whole story, or they can save you from, an explanation and having to talk about something for a long period of time, or break it down. So that's what's beneficial about certain words like this. But intransigence, and if you look at the syllables of the word and learn how to pronounce it, a lot of people struggle with the pronunciation, but you look at the spelling of it, intransigent, like gentleman, intransigent. And you can get the proper, enunciation down if you just practice the syllables separate. Intransigence means that somebody is so uncompromising, you can't work with them, they don't work with you, they're so far left field, they fight you just to fight you. They will say that the sky is black because you said it's blue on a sunny day. They oppose you just to oppose you. They relentlessly oppose everything that you think, say, or do. So I'll go into court and say, the mother won't let me see the child. I make arrangements to meet at a police station to cover her fears of safety. She can exchange the child through a third party. Her big brother, who's 6'4", 260 pounds, can come to my door. I can meet him somewhere in public. But she refuses to do that. She's intransigent. There's no working with her. When we co-parent and make decisions, she'll say, what do you think about this? And then I give an opinion. She goes, that's stupid, and then shuts me down. She's intransigent when it comes to co-parenting. Good word to use. Or even the opposing attorney. The opposing attorney is relentlessly intransigent and won't return my emails when I'm trying to set up stuff with the client. They just want to fight just to fight and stir up conflict so they have more billable hours. Every time I have a chance, I'm going to vilify the other side because they do it to me in court. They crucify me. In my case, after I got custody, my baby's mom wrote a statement under oath saying she didn't want to disclose her address because I'm dangerous to women and children. Well, she's the one who proposed I have custody after I beat the snot out of her for 7 months. And then she says, I'm dangerous to women and children. And then she says, I'm going to become angry. My anger will cause me to be violent with people in the future. I'm a deadbeat welfare bum because I have my daughter on state insurance for a period of time. I'm stupid. I'm crazy. I'm an imbecile. All kinds of stuff in court papers that they said in violation of Civil Rule 11. My judges kept letting it happen because the attorney who she had like 40 years experience. So a lot of you guys talk to me or call me and say, it's so hard. They're calling me names. It sucks. I've already been through that. Now what's your excuse? You're not going to fight for your kid because it hurts your feelings? I used to not want to go to the mailbox and check the mail because every time I open up a letter, there's a court document accusing me of being a monster that I'm not. And it was proven when the mother eventually proposed to have full custody when she didn't even want me to have more than a few hours at first. and didn't let me see the kid for a couple months when I lived 3 blocks away. So let's get to prima facie. Prima facie is a Latin term meaning on its face. Prima, I don't know exactly what that means, but basically about superficial or facial, on its face. Facie obviously looks like the word face, so that's easy to remember. Or you could think primarily, this is a claim that's primarily on its face or on the surface. The mother's just making prima facie allegations that she's afraid of me. She doesn't have any tangible evidence that I scared her. She doesn't cite any incidents. She doesn't cite this or that. The mother makes prima facie allegations that I can't handle the child because the child's an infant. When Troxel versus Granville says you have to assume that I act in the best interest of the child. So there is no burden on me to prove that I'm safe for the child. It's already assumed. But the mother comes in here with just merely prima facie allegations and buzzwords to stir the court up and trigger the court emotionally. And the mother hopes that the court will make an emotional ruling. You can't rely on prima facie allegations, Your Honor. Or I might go to court and I might say, Your Honor, we need to stop this abusive litigation. You should sanction the mother $500 and her attorney $2,500 for their Civil Rule 11 violations. They keep coming to court over and over again with these prima facie allegations that I'm a monster and they don't bring any evidence. Or you could say Civil Rule 11 requires the mother's attorney to investigate the paperwork that she signs off on, or that he signs off on, the attorney. The attorney has to do a reasonable inquiry or investigation in this matter, and the attorney just believes the mother's prima facie allegations in blind faith. So when you say prima facie, you're saying these are on the surface, empty, hot air allegations. So instead of having to rattle those words off, you give them a Latin term and you give them a legal term and kind of tells a little, that's not really a story. And the word intransigence kind of gives you a story, a paragraph's worth of stuff, like I said earlier. Relentless, opposing, won't negotiate, far left field, wants to fight me on every little thing. She'll say something crazy. That's a fact. Just because I say it, she personally hates me, so she will argue with me despite the facts. Like I said, the sky's blue. No, it's not. It's black. And it's right in front of everybody's face, and she'll just fight me just to fight me because there's women's nature. When they communicate, they don't listen to what you say. They look at you and how they relate to you and how they feel about you. So you could say, hey, let's do a 50-50 parenting plan to settle. And she'll say, F you. And then you go to mediation and you sit down with an attorney with a power suit and tie that she respects, because women respect power and they respect status. And they're personal creatures. They don't listen to necessarily what you're saying. They're mesmerized by who you are and your power stance and your clean cut looks. That's why they get bamboozled by used car salesmen. That's why women will say, will you come with me to the car dealership? I'm going to get suckered and bamboozled. Eve got bamboozled and deceived. Adam was sitting there watching it go down, but he turned into a little simp and didn't want to lose his woman. So he just he followed her lead when he was supposed to be the protector. A lot of people put that thing on Eve. Adam should have slapped the fruit out of her hand and say, come on, let's go. I'm supposed to guard and protect this garden. So women will get bamboozled by a power suit and tie, by walking into a law firm and being impressed by it and being emotional and looking at the person. And then a mediator will say, guys have a great case for a 50-50 settlement. She goes, oh, that sounds nice. And then you're thinking, I just told her that 3 weeks ago and she said, F you. What's the difference? Because she hates you, she's not going to listen to anything you say. That's how women operate. They can't listen to logic and common sense and think down the road. Women will go to court mad at you and get a restraining order, call the cops, and they didn't mean for you to go to jail. They were just mad at you that night. And then later they're like, oh my God, he's got a criminal case and this and that. And maybe they wake up, or they start off a court case like that just to get leverage, and they want the kids, so they think they have a good reason because they're so illogical. They think emotionally, I can go ahead and lie for the end of me getting custody to make sure I'm provided for with child support, which is really a prostitution whore type of situation. I want money for having sex. And then they look up down the road and you guys spent $25,000 and you guys end up settling on what the dad wanted in the first place. And she doesn't think, oh my God, I caused us to waste money, time, and energy. So a lot of women are stupid like that, or illogical. So that being said, back to the point, intransigence and prima facie, those are a couple good words or phrases that I like to use and have in my back pocket.